Last week we showed you some plants that love high temperatures, and here's one we forgot to mention, the Crape Myrtle. It'll grow all over Oklahoma. It loves the heat. It doesn't love extremely cold winters, and for that reason sometimes it does get frozen back to the ground, but it will grow back again, usually in a shrubby form. You can prune this away and train it up into a trunk form. It has a very interesting bark, very smooth, kind of a beige color, and that adds some interest. You can also get Crape Myrtle in dwarf form that will stay only about 2 feet high and use it for borders. Very tough plant, has very few insect pests. It will get powdery mildew occasionally, but you can control this pretty easily with some powdered sulfur. Now, to keep Crape Myrtle blooming on past the month of August, on into September, you might want to cut back the growth as the seed pods begin to form. Just trim it back to a node, and it will flush out again. And to help it along, you might want to side dress it with some fertilizer, give it an extra watering, maybe some mulch, and help it to produce new growth. Because you might have noticed the flowers on Crape Myrtle are born on current season's growth. So for that reason, you can make it flush out again to give you some late color. Now, other than Crape Myrtle, we've got one other plant that we wanted to show you, and that's the Lantana. Lantana is a perennial in warmer climates. In fact, down on the Gulf Coast, it grows wild on the sand dunes, and it is a perennial there, and that's a very harsh environment. Sandy conditions, very windy conditions, and very high salt content in the soil. If Lantana will grow there, it'll surely grow here in Oklahoma. One restriction is that we've got to grow it as an annual here, or move the plants inside each winter, because it will be frozen back. But it comes in several different colors. You can grow it as a low, sprawling plant, such as these, or you can train it up into what we call standard form, as you've seen with roses, have a solid trunk and just a little ball of color on top. That's another case where if you grew it in a container, you might want to move it indoors in the wintertime. But we've just planted these out as annual flowers, and they really are giving us some nice color and not showing a hint of suffering from the heat. So you might want to try Lantana next year in your garden.
We hope you've enjoyed this classic from the Oklahoma Gardening Vault. Remember, even though these tips and techniques are timeless, there's always something new to learn in the world of gardening. By subscribing to both Oklahoma Gardening and OK Gardening Classics, you'll have access to a wealth of gardening knowledge, both classic and contemporary.